There you go. You can hear me now. You can't lose with the game. This is when spirituality and the game collide. You have the thinking class. Let me say that again. This is when spirituality and the game collide. You have the what? The thinking class. Didn't add myself to the stream, but now I'm here. This is when spirituality and the game collide. You have the what? The thinking class. This is when spirituality and the game collide. You have the what? Thinking class. Gloves off. We ready to get it? You can't lose with the game that we use. Let me say that again. You can't lose with the game that we use. You can't lose with the game that we use. And as you realized yesterday, the game that you use is not talking about manipulation. It's not talking about hurting anyone or controlling someone. But the real game is the mental game going on, Drake. It's the what? The mental game. Let me say that again. The real game is the mental game. And we realize that the biggest nation there is the what? Imagination. But I got something I want to share today. I said I was going to talk about Larry Holmes. I got to talk about it. We're going to go in because we're making the analogies for you to understand that what the game, you can't lose with the game that we use. So we're going to go into that analogy. I want you to get this. I want you to understand what we're saying. Respect Joe Blaz, Sigma, Dre, everyone that's in the check room. Let's get it. So you can't lose with the game that we use. So yesterday we talked about Muhammad Ali. He's fighting Sonny Liston. Let me put this right here. So yesterday we were talking about Muhammad Ali, my fault, and Sonny Liston. So today we're going to continue that because last night, you know what I did on YouTube University, like, what happened next? And that was Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes was Ali's sparring partner. I fixed the problem. I know what it was.
Okay.
Yeah, fixed the problem. Know exactly what it was. He was Ali's sparring partner, but his sparring partner began to know all of Ali's what? Moves. So you can't lose with the game that we use. But since he sparred with Ali all the time, guess what happened? They got in his ear and said, you need to fight Ali. But he fought Ali in his later years. Please understand the game I'm about to share. By that time, Ali is not at his prime, at his peak where he needs to be at. He's on a decline. But Ali, in true form of Ali, taunted him and said, boy, you just my sparring partner. And so what happened is Larry Holmes went in there and he beat Ali pretty bad.
You know why?
Please talk.
Because he knew his strategy.
He knew his strategy.
He knew his weakness.
He knew him.
Was Ali ever studying his sparring partner's strategy? No, he was trying to just win or survive the fight.
That's right.
See if he was good enough. See if he wasn't trying to beat him. But his sparring partner studied him because he knew what he needed to improve on. And who knows? Sometimes by practicing, you may get better, but the sparring partner really understood whether he improved or not.
Right. And so Larry Holmes actually he destroyed him. Afterwards, he cried afterwards. Because then no matter what, he still looked up to Muhammad Ali. So you got to watch who's studying. I'm not saying you need to watch who's studying you, but you can't use the same tactics that you used yesterday. We talked about this yesterday, actually, that you used yesterday for today. You got to know how to switch it up. You got to know how to, you got to know, you can't lose with the game that we use. You can't lose with the game that we use. He did not switch up because he got comfortable with Larry Holmes. He was common to him. And that's the dangerous part. You cannot become common. You always have to be on 10 toes down, improving your game and your strategy. But there is a caveat to this.
He got familiar with him.
Yes, he did. Very familiar with him. And some of you have become familiar in what you're doing and where you're at and and how you deal with situations. Not knowing that that situation is looking to knock your head off. So you got to adjust. You got to know how to be flexible, agile, how to adjust, how to bend, how to know when to change up. If not, the game that we use is going to make you lose. The game that you use is going to make you lose because you have no new strategy. You have no new strategy. But there comes another caveat to the situation, Jono, and I didn't know it. Some little boy was watching the fight. He wasn't loyal, he was a teenager maybe. And he seen his hero get beat up by Larry Holmes. He was upset about it. He vowed that if he make it, he will avenge his hero's title. So he studied, got great, and what did he do? He came into the boxing lifestyle arena with his sole purpose to what? Get Larry Holmes and avenge his what? Hero's title. Do anybody know who we were talking about? Somebody said it. Please understand this when I'm about to say this strategy right here. So insert Michael, I'm gonna call him Michael Jackson. Mike Tyson. It's Mike Jackson. Mike Tyson. His goal was to what? Strategically get into the boxing world so that he can what? Avenge his heroes, Muhammad Ali's title and what Larry Holmes did to him. And it's funny how the age difference is almost the same between when Ali fought Larry Holmes and then when Holmes had to fight Iron Mike Tyson. I'm talking about you can't lose with the game we use. But this is the interesting point I want to get about what I'm about to say. Mike Tyson got an opportunity to fight Larry Holmes. Cool, that's no problem. But the key thing I want you to get is this. Ali said, get him for me before the fight starts. Sometimes your strategy is not for you, but for the next person to take care of what you may not have strength to do. You got to understand. You got to understand how this works. So in essence, Mike Tyson won the fight. But in essence, it was Muhammad Ali who was getting vindicated for losing the fight for Ali. You see what I'm saying? People don't get it. How this works is not just for your strategy, is not just for you. Sometimes you got to look at, you might employ somebody else who has the strength to use a different strategy to get you to the next level. So what did Ali do? Get him for me. He was dealing with Parkinson's at that time. But I want you to understand the power of you can't lose with the what game we use. He was giving Mike Tyson the what? The goal to do what he could not do at his time. So the game inside of you is strategic for you. So you got to know, you in this scenario, you got to understand the different players. So if we were to say it like we did a couple weeks ago, you could be Muhammad Ali, you can be Larry Holmes, and you could be Mike Tyson. All three of those individuals, what? Are in one. So the power of it is the strategy. You got to learn what Muhammad Ali did, what Larry Holmes did, and then what Mike Tyson finished. All three different individuals, but with a strategy. And this is the part I want you to get about the game that we use, you can't lose, is this. There is a particular strategy or game designed just for you to win. There is a particular strategy or game to use that is just for you. The key is for you to tap into and find out what that strategy is so that you become a winner and not a loser. So to think that there is a generic pill that we can give you, call it red, blue, purple, green, yellow, green, whatever, is to actually do a misservice to you. Because if you get the strategy that works, the game that works best for you, you're guaranteed to get the win. That's why it's so important that you get it on, we're talking about the game on a what? Mental level first, or in your imagination, or if you're subconscious. Let me get Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Hmm?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. There we go. I don't know what happened. Some feedback.
You still getting feedback?
Yeah, I adjusted with it. As my audio went out.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why it's so important that you get that game on the inside of you, that mental game, that strategy that works for you. What you do is you learn from others, but you got to know that in order for the game that you can't lose with the game that we use is the game of understanding who you are and the game that's inside of you. Everyone has a packet, if we were to say that's inside of them. That is the game that they can use that's going to make them a winner. And if you don't tap into that and you're trying to use someone else's game, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. So it's imperative that you step up and learn from Ali. Watch who you're sparring with because they're watching the way you do. But be wise enough to realize that when to step down, that this game is not working for you or this strategy is not working for you. Then you need to employ someone else, Mike Tyson insert, to actually go in and finish the work that needs to be done. If this has resonated, would you let me know in the chat room? I'm not sure what happened.
You sound fine on this end.
So I want you guys to really get that. You can't lose with the game that we use because the real game is not The real game is not what you think it is about manipulating women and controlling this. And hey, I got on gaiters and I got the hat to the side. The real game is what's inside of you. It's your using your imagination. What I did today, I'm gonna give you an example. What I did today, I went and took some time and meditated so that I can formulate the end, get into the end of where I need to get, so that I can get strategy on what I need to do next. So I went within, went into meditation. I know we need to do a series on meditation, but that's gonna have to be for what? For pay and not for play. And I went within and actually dealt with the end of a situation, lived there, because I need to get the strategy on so the strategy can come up on how to move. So you can't lose with the game that we use. You cannot lose. The real game is within you. And we're seeing it multiple ways. We're seeing it different ways, but I want you to really get that the real game is inside of you. The problem is no one has told you to tap into the game that's inside of you because you've been looking on the outside of you. You thinking that the game is, well, let me get all this information, with the real information on how you supposed to move is inside of you. And most people, reason why they're losing at the game, because they're trying to wear someone else's game. The reason why some people are losing at the game is because they're trying to use someone else's game that's not tailored for them.
Could it be that we have an experience of our own, and when something is exposed to you and something has given you, the idea to take for your own, you're not supposed to be a carbon copy of it. You're supposed to literally make it your own. So the experience is really in you making it your own, not so much being able to do exactly what somebody tells you. We throw our ideas around all the time, but not all ideas were suited exactly for you. You're supposed to take the part that fits you best.
And that's the issue. That is the true essence of it. Because every coat I can't wear, but I do like coats.
Yeah.
Let me figure out what this is. Let me see. Let me adjust that. There we go. I know what it is too. Okay. So that's why it's so important. And I'm reiterating, you can't lose with the game that we use. It's not the game, it's realizing that what's in you, and if you use it, you will not lose it.
It's true. You're supposed to really put yourself in a position where, hey, I want this thing, but if I really want it to keep it, I got to put it into action.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, that's been one of the things. I just was reading a book this morning. One of the key things that they were saying was, you can know all these things, but if you never put it to action,
sure,
it never is going. You're never going to have the full experience of it. You can never talk about you want to go, you want to be a cook. You want to be a chef, but you've never been in the kitchen.
Yeah, we have to realize that being what they call book smart is basically how read you are. But that could be basically intelligent conversation for, basically, in a social situation. That's not applied knowledge.
Right. And that's what we're missing here. So that's what I'm saying. If you look at what I said, there's some verbs. You can't lose verb with the game that we use. Another verb. There means there's some action that's involved in order for the game to actually work for you. And I think a lot of times, a lot of people have not taken the time and put action with their game. And they wonder why they keep losing.
It's true. You may think you know it all, but when somebody asks you to show your work, You say less.
Say less. Where's those receipts? Oh, yeah, that's right. They're in your mind. Where the receipts at? Oh, yeah. I made it all up.
Or you're giving somebody else's example and it don't apply to you. So you don't feel it the way they felt it. You don't have the example inside you to give the passion about it the way it's supposed to be expressed.
So you're just talking from a place of like a plastic doll that has nothing in them, but you plastic. It's just a difference, man. You cannot tell me about going to a high-end restaurant or going to Red, or you can't tell me about New York because I've been there. You can't tell me about Times Square because I've been there. I can talk about it, write articles about it, but it's a difference when you actually been to Times Square 3 o'clock in the morning when there's hardly nobody there. It's a difference. Anybody can talk about it, but being there, you can't tell me about where I was the day Michael Jackson passed away. You know why? I know where I was. I was at Times Square. Calling somebody that we both know. He was calling me. We come to pick you up. And I'm running towards past the opposite way of Bryant Park by the post office. It's a big post office downtown and down there to come pick me up. Now I can read stories about it, but you can't tell me where I was. That is my experience. And I think a lot of times the reason why you can't lose with the game we use, because we have an innate factor that most people don't talk about that should be there. We have experience. You have experience. Until you have the experience, you could be just talking or jaw-jacking. So your game does not have any authenticity. It's not authentic enough because it's just you talking off the side of your neck. So your game is losing.
It's true. Some people try to build value with others just because of what they can say, but you really know where people are coming from when they give the experience. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much the fact that you have the knowledge, but where have you applied it?
Right. Where have you really applied it? Where did it work for you? Or where the actual real question is, where did it fail for you?
Exactly. Did you have a failure or a success, and what did you learn from it? That's where we're gonna put it to use at that point. You know, we fail to even give the right acknowledgement to something when we don't know how something is applied, and that means it's just a wasted conversation. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you everything, I know about a car I never had because I read about it. But until you drive it, until you experience it, until you give the real feedback. I did a review for my mechanic this morning, and I was able to really express what I liked about his service because he helped fix 3 of my cars when they were in a bad state. And all the cars are driving right now. So it's not like what I experienced ran out. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I just had generalities where I met the guy and I, wanted to help him with a review online because he said he wants some Google reviews, it would not sound genuine.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? I was able to post pictures. I was able to put up examples. And you know what? They were probably one of the strongest examples of help that he would need because people could actually see the work he did from a cosmetic standpoint right down to a mechanical standpoint. And I was happy to do it. But that was because I had the experience in that situation to give the real feedback. And that's what you look for. When you go on Yelp and you go on some of these other review sites, you know who to trust. When you look at a product and the person's saying, great, 100%, never had an issue, would you trust it? Probably not.
Mm-mm.
You're going to trust the one that told a story about what happened with that product. You're going to trust the one that said, hey, this is the specific scenario. I applied it and it worked out for me. And then you really know the truth when you look at the 1 stars, because they be telling the real truth.
Oh, yeah.
I'm never going back there ever again. This person had the bad service. They'll be naming people exactly for what they were. They'll be putting up exactly who they, the day, the time they went there. So you know the manager that's there at the time. Listen, you get the most feedback. And I learned that even in marketing. Listen, your critics or your retractors, those are the people that you have to do the most work for, because they're telling the truth. There's 100 people behind every one person that didn't complain.
Mm-hmm.
There's 100 more that just walked out and will never come back. So if you got one that's willing to give you the feedback, you got to pay attention to them, because they're telling you what 99 other people didn't tell. And you got to work hard to make it good for them. Now, some people, they try to take advantage. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people that's willing to tell you exactly what you did wrong and is willing to let you make it right, and seeing how you can make it right for those who may not have told you. I think that's one of the most important interactions you can do.
Right. Definitely it is. You need that feedback. You can't lose with the game we use. Right there, that feedback is important to make so that you get a win. Next time, of course, next time you get a win. May not be this time, but it's going to be next time. So you got to be able to have critical thinking and to reason and say, what adjustments do I need to make? If you look at from the beginning, look at to now, you'll see that we have made adjustments to everything with this stream. Sound, audio, more stuff is going to be adjusted. Why? Because we have the mindset we can't lose.
Think about it. When we were talking about sparring partners earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. In a way, we're sparring partners, right? There's something that I know that you have in your war chest of talents that I want to feed off of. And I know that there's some things that I know in the technology world that you want to feed off of. So guess what? We're sparring back and forth every day, throwing ideas out. And that collaboration does build a level of, now we have the experiences that we need to move forward. It's not that we didn't know how to move forward, but we can move forward safely because we have more ammunition. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we've been able to make safe decisions in lighting, safe decisions in sound, safe decisions in camera work, safe decisions in audio boards and computers and everything. We're making safe decisions because, hey, did you hear about this? Hey, did you know about this? Hey, did you watch this YouTuber? Oh, did you see this other guy? You see this guy making the session and do this? It's like we are literally checking in to see what works and what doesn't.
Very true. Now, I sent you a video yesterday. That leads to the video, and then we're going to end. I sent you a video yesterday of George Foreman.
Yep.
Now, we talked about Ali, and this is going to be our last point. We got to go. Ali had beat the undefeated George Foreman. Hard hitting, knock your head off, grab you, George Foreman.
Mm-hmm.
But when he went down, he said in an interview, he lost a part of him when he fell on the canvas of losing to Muhammad Ali. Pay attention to what we're going to say. You can't lose with the game we use. He decided to fight 5 people in one night, and Ali was commentary.
Yep.
Please understand that George was already defeated when he fought the first person on the first round, because he was looking more to impress Ali of what he can do and not who he was as a boxer.
Exactly. You know what? That brings up a very, very important point. Every time I tried, remember, you are supposed to take from your mentor whatever tools they give you, whatever way you can apply it in your life, because they're going to show you in real time how it works, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to tell you a big mistake I made based upon what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
A big mistake I made was trying to go back to the mentor
Mm.
prove
Mm.
that I did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why it's a bad idea is because the roles have not reversed. Get it? You were always in a mode to serve the mentor. They don't want to see you in that other role unless they ask for it. This is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they reach out to you to see how you're doing, that's the only time that they have made a decision that you may have made it. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if you try to go back and be like, hey, look what I bought. Hey, look what I have. Look what I took what you did. I applied it. It's like almost like they still want to try and mold you. And every time I've gone back and tried to show what I thought I knew, they said, "Up, young whippersnapper, you didn't do this though, and you didn't do this, and you didn't do this." And you're sitting there like, wait a minute, I'm trying to impress you with what I have, and they still showing you don't have enough.
Right.
I know it's a little bit askew what you said, but if you think about it, George Foreman was taking his time to impress who he felt would be impressed by it, and the focus is in the wrong place.
That's the point.
The focus should have been on the fighters themselves so that he could literally get the success he's looking for. He was hoping to impress them with the actual event, but you still got to come through. You know what I'm saying?
And
even though you bring the event, you have all the event, the benefits of the event are going to be listed. You still got to come through. That list doesn't mean nothing until you come through and show and prove.
And that's what he messed up. His focus was in the wrong place, trying to impress Ali. And it's funny, when he got to the fifth fight, no, he got to one fight, he got into a real fight with one of the boxers. Distracted. And Ali says, George, this is just a second fight. And I can hear Ali saying that very condescending. It's just a second fight. But it came down to the fifth fight, and he's going in, he's tired. He looks up to see if Ali seen the fifth fight. Little did he know that Ali slipped out the back door and left.
And so he wasn't even there.
Not even there. Please understand what we're saying to you, man. I'm trying to get y'all to really get what I'm really getting at. Sometimes you're worrying about some situation, trying to impress somebody who's not even concerned about your freaking life. Ali slipped out the back door and was gone. It took years later for Foreman to get back his confidence to box, retire, and then come back, find Jesus, then come back to start boxing and winning. But he never got off of that loss of losing to Ali and hitting the canvas.
It's a very powerful lesson.
How many of you have never get over the loss of situations, problems, and people, and you still stuck on the canvas of life after you got knocked down? Straight. Ali hit him straight in the forehead, man. Knocked him down. He went down like a windmill. That's a big boy. But how many of you are just like that, and you have not got off the canvas of life and start doing what you're called to do, what you're purposed to do, and actually live the game that's inside of you?
Man, if people got this, it would be crazy, right?
Yeah, man. If they would have really got, even with Ali taunting him,
That was supposed to be fuel for the fire.
Yes.
It was not supposed to be taken to knock you off your game.
Mm-hmm. Trav got it right there. Gotta understand, somebody's on the canvas of life. You listening to us. If it's one person, I don't know what stream you on, but you're on the canvas life. It's knock you down. Are you going to allow it to take the grit, the soul of who you are, and not fight again? No, granted, George Foreman fought after that, but it wasn't the same before he got knocked out. Knocked out. It was something missing. He said it in years ago. He said, I can still hear Ali whispering, talk to me in the later rounds. He can, years later, he still hear Ali's voice. George, is that all you got? How can you remember? Some of you are living with the ghost of situation that may have knocked you down and not actually got over it. Man, it's too much, man. It's too much, man.
Yeah, you about to hit him in the side with that.
Yeah, it's too much for him, man.
People really will be like, you know what? I'm living with some stuff.
Yeah.
I never let go.
Never let go. Never let go. And I'm not talking from watching the boxing situation. I'm talking from experience.
That should always be like a whole new slogan. You will lose with the stuff you don't lose.
You will lose with the stuff you don't lose. Loose.
Like loose, like you loosen your clothes or you loosen your laces. You will lose if you don't give up the stuff that you were supposed to lose.
And who's whispering in your ear? Who's whispering in your ear on the canvas of life? I know we took a minute to get here, but we got here. But who's whispering in your ear on the canvas of life? Who's while you think you punching and winning and you hear, George, is that all you got? Or whatever your name. Right, Trav, they're whispering. Yeah, Utah. Who's whispering in your ear? Shh, that's all you got? And it takes years later for George Foreman to actually become like a Terminator and knocking people out, I think almost twice his age.
It's true. But you gotta look at sometimes, you know, I think what's the term? Sometimes you gotta look at the fight in the dog.
So have you lost the fight in the dog inside of you?
That's true.
Are you stuck on the canvas like George with your hands up like this?
I mean, ain't it crazy? Like, if you look even at the recent fight with Tyson and Holyfield, you know, years later, right? What you can take from that fight, because people say, oh, you know, it's exhibition, you know, you don't see their true passion. It's not only that, like, you could tell even Mike, from Mike's standpoint, he's in a different place in his life now. Not that he's weak or not that he's not a strong contender. He just knows that this ain't the thing that makes him happy anymore. When he fought before, he did it because he wanted to prove to the world that he was the champion. He knows he is. And by trying to overprove that, it made him lose. You see what I'm saying? You don't want to have to prove that to nobody no more. So you won't see it in this fight anymore.
No, it's not there. No. First one was to avenge Ali, get the title. The next one was to prove that he was a good boxer. Later years, like you said, it came to the point where I don't need to prove that anymore. I don't need to prove that anymore. Sometimes there's some things in people's life you don't need to prove anymore. I don't need to prove that who I am, Lawrence D. Adams. Either you like it, leave it, or fluff it. I don't care. But when you have that attitude, this is where we come in. We're about to end. You can't lose with the game I just used. You can't lose with the game I just used when you don't have the attitude. I don't need to prove anything. But I need to come and jump rope. And when George was proving to Ali that he can beat him by having these fighting these 5 people, it didn't even matter to Ali. Ali, I'm gonna tell you what Ali did, and we got to end. He never fought George Foreman after that. So he never gave George the satisfaction of going back into the ring. So it was always unresolved inside of him. Can I beat Ali? Understand the game that Ali played. He never went in the ring again with George Foreman.
Yeah. And he knew that was going to mess him up for life.
Yeah. It was strategy, man.
He knew. He knew. That was strategy. Well, not mess him for life, but he'd have to go into some deep meditation to get that out of his mind. We know George Foreman went on to be a much more successful person in business and as a personality. But for a while that burned up in his mind.
Ooh, it burned a hole. It's like getting a cigarette. Somebody put it on the couch.
He was like, stinging me.
Think about the conversation he had with himself. I never got to vindicate myself with Ali. This Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali trash talking, gorilla.
He never got to fight him.
Never got to fight again. The torture that he had. But you know what, Jono? I was reading Eric Erickson. You know what Erickson is, right? Milton Erickson, NLP.
Oh, okay.
And
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So some people are having that conversation because they never got the time to go back and fight the people or situations or the thoughts that are lingering in their mind. This is game right here, man. You think this is all right? They ain't talking about women. They ain't talking about getting laid. Oh, we're talking. That's why I presented it in a way with the analogy with George Foreman. Because if I was to print it straightforward, you may have been like, oh, that's a little bit much. But if you get that some of you are looking to vindicate something that is over, you're looking to fight something that don't want to fight you no more.
True.
They don't want to fight you. They don't get it, man. See, there you go, Trav. Lots of people aren't over child and teenage drama, and I'm guilty of it. That's somewhat myself too. See? And it's funny because I'm gonna get an example. We went longer than I really wanted to. I remember I seen some people that I got into a fight when I was in high school, and I think high school, junior high school. It was one particular person. I beat him up when he first came into the neighborhood. We got into it in junior high school. He got a clean punch on me. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I almost like Foreman. I was like, hey, wait a minute. At track practice, we went through high school. We went through high school, came, friends, whatever the case may be. Years later, I'm walking across the street to go to church, and I see him. I'm like, oh, shoot. Ah, my God. I'm still replaying all the fights that we had. Guess what he did? Yo, Lawrence, what's up, my dog? Picked me up. What's up, man? Man, you my dog, man. Yo, what's up, man? He was not having that fight in his mind. I was. He's got over it, and I didn't.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. And the sad part of it is, and shout out to him, I'm not going to say his name. He was in the business, pharmaceutical business for a minute, got hooked onto the substance because of touching it. Got clean. When he seen me, he was clean. Do one hit, and he was out of here. He did one hit afterwards, and he was out of here. Y'all got to understand what we're really saying. I know it's only 9 people in here. I understand. But it's so relevant what we're saying because you can't lose with the game we use. We're giving you the game to actually free you to the next level. Now, I could have been like, yo, there goes so-and-so. What's up, man? And I was with my mama too. So you know you want to show in front of your mother. Yo. But he was not on that. He was just happy to see me because I was a childhood friend. My mind's thinking like, dog, I guess we got to fight again. This is real talk. This is real me right here. So all this, what's it called? I can't get the word. I see the word and I hear it in my mind, but I got to get it to right here. But all this talk, jaw jacking, you have no clue when you look at us, what we went through and what we dealt with to even bring you this. I may not be George Foreman, but I had situations that knocked me on my ass on the canvas.
It's true.
This is relatable. Yeah. And this is only to tell you that you can't lose with the game that we use. But you know, I'm like, in the words of Prophet Hargo, I'm just talking. I'm just talking. I'm just talking. Somebody needs to get off the canvas of life and actually get back into the fight. Okay, you lost that match. You got clean, you got knocked square clean in the chin. I think you got in the chin, caught him clean. But you can't do nothing about the loss you lost that you lost at. But you can do something about what you're going to do next. That's why we got so many people mad about women on YouTube, Jono. Because some girl done clean squared them across your chin with that. No, you're not getting none. This and all that. And so now they want to make videos about how women are crazy and bad and that they do this. You have not got off the canvas of life, sir.
It's true. And now it's kicking you back. You should have realized that wasn't the only game in town.
Women are crazy. You're like George Foreman. You
didn't like losing that one situation, so you're gonna go generalize everybody now. Come on. You should know better than that. Come on, you should know better.
Come on. That's the problem. Y'all done been hit in the chin. Some girl done hit you in the chin, metaphorically, and you on the canvas. And now you try to have 5 women lined up to impress the one girl that you can do this.
Not gonna work.
So you created YouTube videos, or you complain in the chat rooms, and not realizing that the dog, the fight in the dog has been gone. Oh, I'm talking about in generalities and people.
People know exactly what we're talking about, though.
Yeah. Because you did not win with that one girl and she got you clean across the chin. You thought you had a what do you call it? Not a glass jaw, but a steel jaw. But guess what? Boo-doo, boo-doo, boo-doo. Jaw gone. Did that girl really do that to you? And you hurt? Oh, I'm sorry, boo-boo.
The world ain't over though. You're supposed to move on.
Supposed to move on.
Take it in stride and keep it moving.
If not, it's going to be your own
asphalt.
Oh, we talking, man. Y'all don't want this. The girl did this. Yep, you on the canvas. Took my lunch money. You on the canvas. I got a divorce. You on the canvas. Child support whooping me. You on the canvas. Are you on the canvas of life, playboy? Or are you standing up and going to the next fight? We must end. We may talk about Ken Norton tomorrow. Ali and Ken Norton. Oh, they weren't ready for this, man. Took a minute for it to come, but it had to come. They weren't ready for this, John. Somebody's on the canvas, swinging. And Wiz would call it salute. Salute. You know, salute, Alonzo. You know, George Foreman's a big boy, man.
Yep.
That's a ham hog eating country tech from Texas. That's a big boy. One punch from him, you folding like a church chair.
It's like a scorpion.
But it took someone who understood the strategies of how to outbox him and wear him out to almost all the rounds and then knock him out. Boxing is a thinking man's game. Hence, we insert who? Mayweather. It's a thinking man's game. And how many points you can get. Some of y'all are not part of the thinking man's game, thinking class, and you're trying to outbox something that you need to strategize. But I'm just talking. I got to go, man, because I feel the flow. I got to go. Anything else, gentlemen?
You tell them everything.
I can't tell them everything. I already got Pimp God and got on me too. You got on me many times. Pimp God and got on me. Yo, man, you dig, man. You're giving too much out. You're giving too much out, baby. So let me tell you, I ain't gonna say no more. But don't be on that canvas. Don't be like George because you lost that one girl, and now you want to try to get 5 girls that you know you can get. And the girl that you think that's watching then walked out the back door. We out of here. Too much game. Too much game. Too much game. Yo, John, you think that was good today, man?
I think they got some real game today.
Yeah, man. I had to pull some Erickson on him. Milton Erickson. Can't tell them about that game. That would cause them to do a tailspin. Joe Blas got to get off that canvas though, man.
Your mind blown.
Yeah. Like what did they just do to me? Why am I? Oh my God. Just too much for him. took a minute to warm up. Remember, I had to get a couple rounds in, then hit it.
Hey, sounds like one of them boxing matches we were talking about.
Yeah, it sure does. Wait till next week. Wait till tomorrow we talk about Ali and Kid Norton. Wow. Who you gonna? Somebody got. I think Ali got his jaw broke. Oh, shoot! We got to end the broadcast. We got to end this.